Now, the final official words for this convention come from Bettina Bundszus, Head of Department for Children and Youth in the Federal Ministry for Family Affairs, Senior Citizens, Women and Youth.
Hello again. I just want to remind you all where we started. The first European Youth Work Convention took place in 2010, 10 years ago in Ghent. And the idea back then was to learn about the broad diversity of youth work across Europe. The second convention was in Brussels in 2015. The idea here was to find a common ground, a common understanding of youth work across the community. And today, December 2020, we are at the virtual third European Youth Work Convention in Bonn, and we have taken some very important political decisions. This is a milestone for European youth work, and all of you have contributed towards that. We're kicking off the Bonn process today. And you prepared the ground for that. For 4 days, you discussed all of the different issues and ideas that have gone into this. And it is a very special thing to have so many different participants from across Europe, all with their own backgrounds, perspectives, and expertise. And you have contributed an enormous amount of valuable expertise and insight from your respective perspectives. And I think you have brought the right spirit to the Bonn process. And that is great tailwind for the Bonn process that now begins. The final declaration for this reason is your document. It's not just a document that was somewhere, somehow adopted by some people. It's your product. Ladies and gentlemen, Europe is facing a huge number of challenges and changes. And I think the current crisis could be the biggest challenge of all. However, a lot of people are also asking themselves, what future does democracy have? What do these changes mean for our lives? And in particular, what does all this mean for youth work, for our practice? In all countries where we carry responsibility, youth work has to be strengthened. Everything that we invest in young people will come back. Youth work needs support so that young people can experience Europe and the European ideal for what it is, so that they can learn to appreciate what it means to be a European. The implementation of the Bonn process will be happening at the European level, of course, but in particular also at the national levels in our countries. And what is very important is that we need to work together, especially with the youth work community of practice. There has to be a level playing field. Some of this collaboration have already started inside the delegations, and I have heard how incredibly successful you have been over the last 4 days, how much energy has come out of this process. And I hope that this momentum can be maintained. That would be my very personal wish for the Bonn process. The final declaration also incorporates a vision, your vision, for tracing and tracking the outcomes of this process and the desire to prepare the ground for the 4th European Youth Work Conference in 2025. We are the hosts of this convention, and we carry a responsibility for ensuring that this process is properly pursued at the European level by the Commission and by the Council of Europe. This is your appeal that you have incorporated in the final declaration, and we have heard that appeal. We also need to see a coordinated approach at the European level. We want the institutions to work together. We want them to create alliances, and we want all of the stakeholders to stand behind this process. And so this declaration formulates the objectives and our aims, our desires for the Bonn process. To close, I would like to offer my words of thanks to all of you who have inspired this process, who have helped shape that process, to all of you who have contributed to this process. You have led teams, you have facilitated workshops, you have held presentations. It was incredible to see how much expertise and energy has come to the fore over the last 4 days. And I don't think we've ever had a setting like this ever. So really, I'm amazed that this has been able to happen in the virtual space. That's the good side of the coin. The not so good side of the coin is that we've not been able to come together, but I'm sure that we will come together at some point quite soon, and I really look forward to that moment. I would like to thank all of you, especially who have been working behind the scenes, people who don't really get the visibility that they deserve. And above all, I would like to mention the sound engineers and the technical staff, some of whom have been working for weeks to build this platform. It's been fantastic what you've been able to achieve. So thank you so much. I would also like to thank the European Steering Group that first met physically, later virtually, in order to design this convention and contribute expertise to the process. I would also like to thank the drafting group that has been really working around the clock to produce this wonderful final declaration. And a special word of thanks to Jennifer Ziegler and Tim Schroeder, the hosts of the last 4 days. They have done such an amazing job, and every day I watched the convention news video, which they appeared in, which they produced as well, and really that was incredible. It was a joy to follow what has been happening in Bonn over the last few days. And finally, I would like to thank the organization team on the ground, the project team at BAFTA, Jugend für Europa, and the project team in the youth ministry, who have dedicated an incredible amount of energy to the convention. But I think they've also generated a lot of energy, and I think that will be a wonderful foundation for a successful Bonn process. This has been a 4-day digital convention with more than 30 hours of activities spread across several time zones in many cases. Has been a very successful experiment. It cannot replace personal contact. It is no substitute for an in-person event, but I think it's been very useful for all of us. It's been very enriching, and I'm sure that despite this virtual space, new contacts have been established that can only be strengthened moving forward. Thank you so much to all of you who have turned this convention into such a success with your contributions, your projects, your passion, and your ideas. You have paved the way for the Bonn process. It will be a success story, I am sure. We are the ones who are responsible for youth work across Europe, and youth work in Europe is in good hands. Thank you so much for your commitment. Stay safe, stay healthy. I look forward to working with you in future. Take care.
Bettina Bundszus, and also from us, thank you very much to the whole team.